ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थ
नत्वा
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
धीमहे पञ्चदशीम्
अधीमहे पञ्चदशीम्
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये।
सत्त्वांशैः पञ्चभिस्तेषाम् प्रमाधीन्द्रियपञ्चकम् श्रोत्रत्वगक्षिरसनघ्राणाख्यमुपजायते तैरन्तःकरणम् तैरन्तःकरणं सर्वैः वृत्तिभेदेन तद्विधा मनोविमर्शरूपं स्यात्
मनोविमर्शरूपं स्यात्
निश्चयात्मिका
बुद्धिः स्यात् निश्चयात्मिका
रजोंशैः पञ्चभिस्तेषाम्
रजोंशैः पञ्चभिस्तेषाम्
क्रमात् कर्मेन्द्रियाणि तु
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि तु
वाक्पाणिपादपायोपस्थाभिधानानि जज्ञिरे
जज्ञिरे
तैः सर्वैः सहितैः प्राणः
प्राणः
वृत्तिभेदात् स पञ्चधा प्राणोपानस्समानश्चोदान समान. You can stop there. प्राणोपानस्समानश्च दानव्यानौ च ते पुनः बुद्धिकर्मेन्द्रिय प्राण पञ्चकैर्मनसा धिया शरीरं सप्तदशभिः सूक्ष्मतल्लिङ्गमुच्यते 24th also we have seen, or we are seeing. We are reading this. Prajnastatraabhimanena तैजसत्वं प्रपद्यते हिरण्यगर्भतामीशः तयोर्वृष्टिसमष्टिथा Before we proceed further, you can recall what you studied in Tattva Bodha. Even in Mundaka Upanishad, we have seen this. Chaitanyam, Brahma Chaitanyam, with the Upadhi, Trivida Upadhi, otherwise called Prakriti. Whether you call Upadhi or Prakriti, they are same. Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Stula Shariram. Karana Sharira Abhimani, Atma, Chaitanyam, Brahma. Samashti Karan, here you have to take Samashti, total. Samashti Karana Sharira Abhimani, Brahma is called Ishvaraha, and that Karana Shariram is called Maya. Maya is the Upadhi of Ishvara. Ishvara is Mayavi, and Maya is under the control of Ishvara. That is why Maya can never cover Ishvara. There is no avarana for Ishvara. There is no avarana for Ishvara. Ishvara cannot be veiled over by Maya. That is why Ishvara is Sarvajnaha. Sarva with Maya Upadhi, Ishvara creates this Srishti. So Samashti Karana Sharira Abhimani Brahma Chaitanyam is called Ishvaraha. Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Brahma is called Hiranyagarbha. This is what there in the shloka. We just know so. Prajnas Tatra Abhimanena. Hiranyagarbha is defined here. Tejasatvam Prapadyate. Hiranyagarbhata Bhishaha. Hiranyagarbhata, the status of being Hiranyagarbha. Tayor Vyashti Samashtita. Hiranyagarbha is Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Brahma Chaitanya. That is called Hiranyagarbha. If it is Vyashti, that is called Tejasam. Tejasaha. Tejasatvam Prapadyate. Prajnastatra Vivanena. Iti. Samashti Stula Sharira Abhimani Brahma Chaitanyam is called Virat. This will come later. So, Trivida Upadhi identified or Brahma which manifests through this Upadhi, that is better expression, gets a name Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, Virat. So, Ishvara is nothing but Brahma. With the Upadhi, Mithya Upadhi, Karana Shariram. Hiranyagarbha is nothing but Brahma. With the Mithya Upadhi, Sukshma Shariram. Virat is nothing but Brahma. With the Mithya Upadhi, Samashti Stula Shariram. What is the Samashti Stula Shariram of Brahma? This Prapancha, this Jagat. Jagat is Mithya. Jagat is Mithya, therefore it is Brahma. Mithya means Nama Rupa is Mithya. In fact, Nama Rupa is also Bhagavan. Therefore, the Jagat is also Ishvara. Because Jagat doesn't count. Nama Rupa doesn't count separate. It is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara, Virat. Iti. This is at the level of Samashti. This is what the author says. Similarly, at the level of Vyashti, as in the Samashti here also, Trivida Upadhi. Upadhi is here, Upadhi is Shariram. Shariram is the Upadhi. Shariram is made of the five elements. Five elements, they are formed from the Maya, Trigunatmika Maya. Therefore, it's also the same Prakriti only. And three Shariram, Shariratrayam, Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Stula Shariram. This is at the level of Vyashti, individual. Previously it was total, collective, now individual. So Karana Sharira Abhimani Atma is called Prajnaha. With Mithya Upadhi Karana Shariram, Atma Chaitanyam gets the name Prajnaha. Similarly, with the Sukshma Sharira Upadhi, Vyashti Sukshma Sharira Upadhi Upahita Chaitanyam Atma gets the name Tejasaha. Similarly, Vyashti Stula Sharira Abhimani Atma is called Vishwaha. So with three Upadhi at the level of Karana, that is causal state, subtle state, and gross state, the same Atma gets the name Prajnaha, Tejasaha, Vishwaha. So Atma is equal to, Prajnaha is equal to Atma with Karana Sharira, Mithya Upadhi. Tejasa is nothing but Atma with Sukshma Sharira, Mithya Upadhi. Vishwa is nothing but Atma with Stula Sharira, Mithya Upadhi. This is at the level of individual. And later when we talk about Aikyam, we are going to equate both the Vyashti and the Samashti at the level of all the Shariram, all the Upadhis. Then Ishvara is Ishvara and Prajna, Tayoho, Vedaha Nasti, and in this shloka, Tayoho Vyashti Samashtita, Tayoho Vyashti Samashtita, Vyashti is Prajnaha, Samashti is Ishvara. Vyashti is Tejasa, Samashti is Hiranyagarbha. Vyashti is Vishwaha, Samashti is Virat. At each Upadhi, you can equate. Ishvara is Prajnaha, Hiranyagarbha is Tejasa, and Virat is Ishvaraha. There is no difference. Therefore, Brahma, Atma is Brahma Eva. Jiveshvara Aikyam. Therefore, Mahavakyam. we are going to dismiss all this Shariram as Mithya, and it will be equated to the Samashti, which is Brahma, therefore Brahmatma. That is what the author is going to arrive. Now, we are saying this Srishti. So therefore, here, Prajnaha, seeing the shloka now, Prajnaha, Tatra Abhimanena, Taijasatvam Prapadyate, Tatra, Putra, we are talking about Linga Shariram, that is Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma Sharira Abhimanena, Taijasatvam Prapadyate. How do you know Sukshma Shariram? Because previous shloka, Sukshma Tallinga Muchyate. Linga Shariram was talked about in the previous shloka. Therefore, Tatra referring to Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma Sharire Abhimanena, Sukshma Sharira Abhimanena, Taijasatvam Prapadyate. What? Prajnaha. Jivaha. Jivaha Prapadyate Prapnoti Taijasatvam. So Taijasatvam, Taijasa from the word Tejas. Why it is called Taijasa? Because Sukshma Shariram only as Antakaranam, and Antakaranam only Atma manifest. Chaitanyam consciousness manifest. Chaitanyam cannot manifest in Karana Shariram. It requires Sukshma Shariram. Because Sukshma Shariram only we have Antakaranam. In Antakaranam only consciousness, Chaitanyam, Atma manifest. Therefore, Taijasatvam, that's why it's called Tejas, Taijasa. Tejomaya Antakaranam. Antakaranam is Tejomaya. Antakaranam is Tejomaya, Tejas, Jnana Pradhana. Therefore, it is called Taijasa. Taijasatvam, the status of being Taijasa, effulgence, luminous, Jnana Pradhana. So Taijasatvam Prapadyate. This is at the level of Vyashti. Similarly, Hiranyagarbhatam, Ishaha, Ishvaraha. Samashti Karana Sharira Abhimani Brahma Ishaha Ishvaraha Hiranyagarbhatam Prapadyate. Prapadyate, the word has to be Anushangaha, to be added, to be added to this line also, second line also. The same one Kriya Padam stands for both. Hiranyagarbhatam Ishvaraha. Ishvara alone, he expands to the total subtle prapancha. Gets a name, Hiranyagarbha. Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Atma Hiranyagarbhatam. Ishvara identified with total Sukshma Shariram. If it is individual Shariram, then Atma, the Chaitanyam, is called Taijasa. With the total, it is Hiranyagarbha. Compared to the individual, total is powerful. Always total is powerful. At individual level, there is Ajnanam. At the total level, there is no trace of Ajnanam, no avaranam possible. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, it's called Hiranyagarbha. So, therefore, Hiranyagarbha is the same Chaitanyam when manifest through the total Sukshma Sharira, Samashti Sukshma Sharira, totality. So therefore, Vyashti Samashti. Vyashti individual, Samashti total. So in Samashti is Sarvashaktiman, Sarvajnaha, therefore Hiranyagarbha is Sarvajnaha. As in the Vyashti level, Antakaranam is there, therefore Chaitanyam consciousness reflects in the Sukshma Shariram. Similarly, at the total level, Hiranyagarbha, because it is a collection of all the Sukshma Shariram, therefore it has to be the embodiment of knowledge. That is why Sarvajnaha, And also Sarva Shaktiman. It is Sarva Shaktiman. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Deshe Arjuna Tishtati. Ishvara is there in every Sukshma Sharira. The same Ishvara is obtained in every Sukshma Sharira and is called Hiranyagarbha. Individually, he is called Taijasa, but the same Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara, identified with total Shariram, is called Hiranyagarbha, and he is what is obtained in individual Sukshma Shariram. With Upadi, with Mithya Upadi, there seems to be difference, but really there is no difference. They're both the same. Ishvara alone is the Hrideshe, Hridaya Deshe, Hridaya Gugayam, Tishtati, he Arjuna, Sarvabhutana, Ishvaraha Sarvabhutana, Hrideshe, he Arjuna, Tishtati. Sarvabhutanam Ishvaraha, Hrideshe, Hridaya Gugayam, Tishtati. So it is Bhagavan only who resides in the Hridaya Guga. Hridaya is the Golakam. And the Upalabdhisthanam of this Ishvara is this Hridaya Guga, where Bhagavan resides. Bhagavan, where is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is everywhere. But his Upalabdhisthanam in this Shariram is this Hridaya Guga. So therefore, Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Hiranyagarbha, Samashti Karna Sharira Abhimani Ishvaraha, Vyashti Karna Sharira Abhimani Pragyaha, Vyashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Tayasaha. Therefore, Vyashti Samashtita, Tayoho Vedaha, Tayoho Kaha Vedaha. What is the Veda? What is the difference? Because of being Vyashti and Samashti. The status of being a Vyashti and Samashti, that is the difference. Vyashti is limited, less pervasive. Alpadeshatvam, Vyashti. Samashti is all pervasive. Samashti means total, complete. Therefore, all pervasive. It is Adhikadeshatvam. So therefore, Ishvara identified with all the Sukshma Shariram, that is Vyashti. Jiva identified with the Sukshma, limited individual Sukshma Shariram, that is Vyashti. Tayoho Vedaha, Vyashti Samashtita. That is a Veda. So this is the shloka we are saying. Now we will read the Tika. Evam Sukshma Shariram Abhidhaya Tad Abhimanitva Prayuktam Prajneshwarayoho Avastantaram Darshayati. Prajna Ishwarayoho. Prajna Ishvara defined in the previous shloka. Not immediately, before we have seen. So, Tat Abhimanatva Prayuktam Prajneshwarayoho. Prajnyascha Ishvaraha cha Prajneshwarau Tayoho Prajneshwarayoho. Itarita Danda Samasa. So Sukshma Shariratvam Abhidhaya. Sukshma Shariratvam Abhidhaya Prajneshwarayoho Avastantaram Darshayati. Kaha Grantakara. Grantakara, he shows the Avastha, Anyavastha, another state, Avastha of what? Pragya and Ishvara, taking Sukshma Shariram as the Upadi, he shows. Identify with the Sukshma Shariram, Avastantaram Darshayati. The Grantakaraha Darshayati. Prajnaha iti. Prajnaha Malina Sattva Pradhana Avidya Upadikaha Jivaha. That is Prajnaha. Already we have seen. Yashti, that Prajnaha is Malina Sattva Pradhana. The word Malina Sattva is what we use. The author said Ashuddhi. Sattva Shuddhivyam Avidya and Maya iti dve iti Prakritihi Dvida Bhavati Visa. So Sattva Shuddhivyam, Sattva Ashuddhivyam. But Ashuddhi Sattva, that is Malina Sattva. Therefore, Malina Sattva Pradhana. Sattva is Malinam. Therefore, Sattva is dominated by dominated by Rajas and Tamas. If it is dominated by Rajas, then it is Prajnaha, Jivaha, Marina Sattva Pradhana, Avidya Upadikaha. Avidya is the Upadi. Avidya is the Karana Shariram of the individual, and Avidya is the Upadi Shariram of whom? This Jivaha. So Jivaha is nothing but Avidya Upadikaha Jivaha, and Avidya is the Malina Sattva Pradhana. So therefore, Malina Sattva Pradhana Avidya Upadikaha, it means Jivaha ityartaha. Jiva who has the Upadi, the Upadi is Avidya, and Avidya is Malina Sattva Pradhana. If it is Ishvara, then how do we say that? Shuddha Sattva Pradhana. Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya Upadikaha Ishvaraha. That is the definition of Ishvara. If Ishvara is what? If it is asked, you can say Shuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya Upadikaha Ishvaraha. Fine. Tatra Kutra Sukshma Sharire Tejaha Shabda Vachyan Vachya Antakarana Upalakshita Linga Sharire. So here he defines what is Tatra. Tatra is Tejas Shabda Vachyantara Antakarana Upalakshita Linga Sharire. Tatra is equal to Linga Sharira. By the word Tejaha. Tejaha is luminous, effulgence. So by that, what is indicated is Antakaranam is what is Lakshita. Antakaranam, where it is obtained, it is in the Sukma Sharira. Sukma Sharira has got the name Linga Sharira. Therefore, Tatra is Linga Sharire. Linga Sharire, Abhimanena, Abhimana, identification. It is, this identification also is, we use, but we understand what it means. Manifesting through the Sukshma Sharira. That is the right word. But Abhimana means identification only, literal translation. Chaitanyam really cannot identify with anything. That identification is because of Avidya, as though. How can Chaitanyam identify itself? So that identification because of Avidya. So that's Abhimana, manifesting, that would be better, manifesting, because of, and also the word Abhimana is, can be used at Vyashti level, because there is a Adhyasa, Paraspara, that Tadhatmyatvam, therefore Abhimana. That's what he says here, Abhimanena, Tadhatmya Abhimanena. Tadhatmya Abhimanena. Tadhatmya Abhimana is Tasmin Atasmin Tad Buddhi, Tadatmya. Tadatmya Abhimanena. Tadatmya is a Tadita word. Tadatmyam. Taking that to be oneself. That's called Tadatmyam. Tadatmya Abhimanena. That is not me, but taken to be me. That is, Anatma is not Atma, but Anatma Shariram is taken to be Atma. That is Abhiman. So Tadatmya Abhimanena, identified. That's why we say identified, translated as identified. Identified with the Sukshma Shariram. Tat referring to Sukshma Shariram, Linga Shariram. So Linga Sharira Abhimanena, that is what the meaning is. Tadatmya Abhimanena means Linga Sharira Abhimanena, Taijasatvam. Taijasa Namakatvam Prapadyate. Gets the name Taijasa. What gets the name Taijasa? This Prajnaha, this Jivaha, who is Marina Sattva Pradhana Vidya, Avidya Upadikaha Jivaha. The Jiva gets the name Taijasa. Therefore, this at the level of Sukshma Shariram, this Jiva is nothing but Taijasa with the Abhimana, with the Sukshma Sharira Abhimana. Abhimani, Sukshma Sharira Abhimani, Jivaha Atma is called Taijasa. Taijasa Namakatvam Prapadyate Prapnoti. Prapadyate is equal to Praptoti. Ishaha. Here he says Ishaha, he defines the same way as he defined Prajnaha. Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya Upadikaha. Jivaha is Malina Sattva Pradhana. Ishvara is Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana. Shuddha Sattva Pradhana. What is that? Maya. Shuddha Sattva Pradhana is Maya. Malina Sattva Pradhana is Avidya. Maya, which is the Upadi of which is Ishvara. That is Parameshwaraha. Paramatma, Ishvaraha. Tatra Sharire. Tatra Sharire is referring to the Shariram, Sukshma Shariram of Samashti. Samashti Sukshma Shariram. Shariram of all the individual put together, that is Samashti, total. Tatra Aham iti Abhimanena. Agam iti Abhimanena. Putra Linga Sharire. Hiranyagarbhatam. Hiranyagarbhatam. The status of being Hiranyagarbha. I told what is the meaning of Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya means Swarnam, gold. But here Hiranya means Jnanam. Jnanam Garbhe Yasya Saha, the one who has Jnanam in its womb. Therefore, he is Jnana Pradhana. He is Sarvajnaha, all knowledge, omniscient, Ishvara. So Hiranyagarbha Sanyakatvam gets the name Hiranyagarbha Prapadyate iti Anushangaha. Anushangaha is a technical word. Anushangaha, to be connected. What to be connected? The Prapadyate. Kriyapadam is there in the shloka. Only once it is there in the first line. Second line there is no Prapadyate. Therefore, Prapadyate Anushangaha. The second line also it should be joined. Hiranyagarbha Ishaha Hiranyagarbhatam Prapadyate Pragyaha Tayyasatvam Prapadyate iti. Tatra Abhimanena. That is common for both. Linga Sharira Abhimanena Pragyaha Tayyasatvam Prapadyate. Linga Sharira Abhimanena Ishaha Ishvaraha Hiranyagarbhatam Prapadyate. Tayoho Veshti Samashtita iti Vedaha asti. Tayoho kaha Vedaha. Veshti is Veshti Samashtita. The status of being an individual and a total is the difference between the two. Tayoho Veshti Samashtita. Or they have the status of being the individual and the total, respectively. That is, Taijasa is individual and Hiranyagarbha is total. Then, Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho. Taijasa is at the level of individual Sukma Shariram, Mithya Upadi Sukma Shariram. Hiranyagarbha similarly at the level of total Upadi being Sukshma Shariram, Samashti Sukshma Shariram. So Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho, that is Tayoho. Tayoho Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho Linga Sharira Abhimane Samane Sati. When Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, when they have Abhimana with Linga Sharira, with regard to the Abhimana with the Linga Sharira, that being same for both. Tayoho Parasparam Vedaha Kim Nibandhana iti ataha aha tayoho iti. Tayoho, there is a difference between the two. That is why tayoho, it is that even though the Abhimana with the Linga Shariyam being common for both, but the difference being that therefore tayoho, it is used. Tayoho, kayoho, that Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho. Shashti Vibhakti Dvivachanam. Why Dvivachanam? Why it is required? Tayoho, we have to say why two? Because why two? Even though the Linga Shariram is Abhimana with the Linga Shariram being common. Why two? Because Linga Shariram itself different, not same. Therefore, there is difference between the two. What is the difference? Veshti Samashtita is a difference. One is less pervasive, other is total, all pervasive. Therefore, Tayoho, the word is used. Tayoho, Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho, Veshtitvam, Samashtitvam Bhavati, Ataha Eva Vedaha Ityartaha. It has the status of Veshti. What? Taijasa. It has the status of Samashti. What? Hiranyagarbha. So, Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Yoho, Veshtitvam, the status of being a Veshti. Samashtitvam, the status of being Samashti Bhavati. Ataha eva Vedaha Asti Tayoho Madhya. Iti. In the shloka, tayoho vyashti samashtita. There it is samasa, vyashti samashtita. Ta is ta artham, both means same. Tasya bhavaha tvatalau. That's a sutra which says that in the sense of tasya bhavaha, tasya bhava ityarte, the status of being, that meaning the pratyaya, tal pratyaya or ta pratyaya. That is, tal is lakara is it letter, ta pratyaya or tva pratyaya can be added. Ta pratyaya, when you add to the word, you will have strilinga rupam. Tva pratyaya will give napumsakalinga rupam. So therefore, veshtita, samashtita, veshti samashtita as one word, samasa, veshti samashtita. You can say veshtita, samashtita, nothing wrong. Or veshtitvam, samashtitvam, that is also same. Veshtitvam is equal to veshtita. Samashtitvam is equal to samashtita. So veshtita, samashtita, veshtitvam, samashtitvam, yeva bhedaha, kayoho, tayoho, taijase hiranyagarbhayoho, iti. Okay. So that is the difference. Then, so after this, at the level, at the Veshti Samashtita, the word Veshti Samashti also the author has introduced. And in the Vedanta Sara, it is Veshti Samashti also described with examples, many examples. Like the tree and the vriksha, what I told in the last class. Individual tree, that is Veshti. The forest is Samashti. Similarly, Gata Akasha, the space in the pot, Veshti. The space, total space, that is Samashti. Kaha Vedaha Tayoho. What is the difference between a tree and the trees of the forest? A forest, what is forest? A forest is nothing but a collection of trees. A forest is nothing but the collection of trees. So, in essence, there is no difference between one tree and the total tree. There is no difference. Tree is tree only. Whether it is a single tree or the collection of the trees, they are trees only. But there is a difference. When it becomes the total, when it is more in number, there is a difference. When they are more, then it becomes a forest. Forest means it can attract the clouds, it can attract the rain, but not an individual tree. Individual tree cannot attract. So there is a difference. So when it is total, it is more powerful. It is more powerful. It has got strength. Similarly, here also. Of course, it is like a single stick and the total stick. A stick is a single stick, a wooden stick. It can be broken. But the bundle of sticks together, that is samashti. That becomes strong. So that which is samashti always will be greater, will be better, will be stronger than the veshti. And the same thing here. So gata akasha, similarly gata akasha and total akasha. And when it is veshti, then ajnanam is possible. Samashti, no ajnanam is possible. How you say samashti, total ajnanam? Samashti, when it comes to samashti, the total ajnanam cannot be there. That Ishvara is total. Ishvara is total. How Ishvara can have ajnanam? Okay, this can be explained with an example. Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Brahma Chaitanyam is Hiranyagarbha, Sarvajnaha, the total, all knowledge, all powerful example, the stick example, it conveys the Sarvashaktimatvam of the total. What about this Jnanam, that Sarvajnatvam? A candle, an individual candle, when it lighted. A candle, when it is lighted, it illumines the entire room, but there will be darkness just at the bottom of it. Below, darkness will be there. Below the candle, darkness will be there. But the candle will illumine the entire room. The entire room will be illuminated, but there will be darkness just underneath the candle. And if you place another lighted candle, then what will happen? The other candle will illumine the darkness of this candle, the first candle. And the first candle will illumine the darkness of the second candle. Therefore, there will not be darkness. There will be light everywhere. And if you place so many candles, that is samashti, sarvajyatvam, all powerful, sarvashaktimatvam. That's the difference. Samashti, samashti. Another example, if a question is asked in the class, in a group of students are there. If a question is asked to the individual may not know. But if you put the question to the class, not all the students are at the same level. So, certain questions some people will answer. Certain difficult questions some other people may answer. So, individually there may be the differences, but as a total, that is why in the quiz competition, a group of students. So in a quiz competition where there are more than 4 people are there in a group, like that we have 4 or 5 groups, the group wins because the sharing of the knowledge of the individual members of the group, that total knowledge of them, that is stronger than the individual knowledge. Individually, they may not know everything, but totally, their knowledge is powerful, stronger, they know. Even if one person doesn't know and that it is compensated by the other person. One person may be stronger in particular field, the other person may be stronger in another field. Therefore, it compensates. Therefore, the total is always powerful. And that is what here also we said, Hiranyagarbha is Samashti, Karna Sharira, Abhimani, Brahma is Sarvajnaha. And the same when it comes to the individual, that Vishti, he becomes Taijasa, is limited, is Alpashaktiman, is Alpajnaha. The difference is the Tayoho Vedaha. The Veda is because of Vishti Samashti. Now, having said that the Veda between the total and the individual, the next shloka, further he says, let us read the next one. Samashtirisha sarvesham
Samashtirisha sarvesham
Atmathadatmya Vedanat
Atmatadatyamidanat
Tada Bhava Tathonyetu
Tadabhavatatodyetu
Katyante Vyashti Sanjnaya.
Katyante vyashti sanya
Samashtihi Ishaha Sarvesham Swatmatadatmya Vedanat Ishaha Samashtihi Tadabhavat Tat Abhavat Tataha Anye Vyashti Sanjnaya Katyante. This is what the author says. What does it mean? That is, Ishvara is Samashti. Ishvara is total. Because Sarvesham Swatmatadatmya Vedanat. Jiva, the Sarvesham Swatmatadatmya Vedanat. We will see what it is. And Jiva is Vyashti. See, why Ishvara is Samashti, Jiva is Vyashti, that is being said. Ishvara is Samashti because the Hetu is Swatmatadatmya Vedanat, Panchami. Sarvesham Swatmatadatmya Vedanat, Ishvaraha, Ishaha, Samashtihi. Jiva is Vyashti. Why? Anyetu Tat Abhavat. Tat Abhavat, that is a Hetu. Tadabhavat. Tadabhavat means tat abhavat. What are tat? We will see. Anye tu tat abhavat jivaha vyashti sajnaya. Jivaha vyashtihi. Vyashti sajnaya katyante. Vedanat. Vedanat means knowledge. Vedana, Vedanam, Veda, Viddhatu, Vedanat, knowledge. Vedanam. Sarvesham. Sarvesham means Sarva Tejasana. Sarvesham total. Total Linga Shariram. Total Sukshma Shariram. Sarvesham. We can say Sarva Tejasanam Samashtihi. Sarva Tejasanam, the total Tejasa. That is what is Samashti, that is what is called Hiranyagarbha. So Sarvesham is Sarva Tejasanam. Tejas, Tejasa. Swatma Tadatmi Vedanat. Ishvara, he knows. Ishvara, he knows the oneness of all the Sukshma Shariram. He is, in fact, he is identified with the Samashti Sukshma Shariram is called Hiranyagarbha. Identified with all the Sukshma Shariram. Therefore, he knows all the Sukshma Shariram, individual Sukshma Shariram. Of course, he will know. Because he is identified with the total Sukshma Shariram. If it's identified with the total Sukshma Shariram, then he must have knowledge of the individual Sukshma Shariram. He knows the oneness of all the subtle bodies, Sukshma Shariram. Because the identification is total, Swadatmya Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Tadatmya is Ekatvam. The meaning of Tadatmya is Ekatvam. The Tadita word Ekatvam Ityata, oneness. Tadatmya means oneness. Ishvara has a knowledge of Vedanat, has a knowledge of all the Sukshma Sharira. All the Tejasas are the manifestation of Ishvara only, Bhagavan only. Therefore, Ishvara is Samashti. Swatmana Vedana, Swatma Tadatmya Vedana. He is identified with all the Tejasas. That is Sukshma Sharira. Like what? If you ask. There is a difference between a citizen of a country and the Prime Minister. As a citizen of a desha, of a country, the person is identified with his problem. Yes, problem, so many problems, family problem, social problem, so many problems are there. So he is identified with his individual problem. But what about the Prime Minister? Prime Minister of the country. He is identified with the whole country. Whole country means all the people put together is only whole country. It is not just the land. It is the people put together all the people. That is what the country is. So he is identified with the whole country. The problem of all the individuals is the problem of Ishvara, the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister is Samashti. And the individual citizen is Vyashti. The Prime Minister is Samashti. Why? Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Because even though the Prime Minister, even though he is a single individual, but he is identified with the totality. Swatmana Tadatmya Vedanat Samashtihi iti uchyate. Samashti Sagyaya Katyante. So Prime Minister is Samashti. And different from the Prime Minister, the citizen, Anyetu, the individual, the citizen is Vyashti Sagyaya Katyante, is known by Vyashti, by the word Vyashti. Anyetu, other than that, other than the Samashti, the individual, the two for Vailakshanyarte, to show the distinction between the Samashti and Vyashti, the word two is used. Anyetu, different from that, different from what? Different from the Samashti. Samashti is Sarvesham Swatma Tadatmya Vedana Samashti iti Katyante. Different from that, this individual, that is Tejasaha, Tat Abhavat. Tat Abhavat means is not identified with everything, not with the total. Therefore, Tat Abhavat. Swatma Tadatmya Abhavat. Swatma Tadatmya Vedana Abhavat. Veshti Sanyaya Katyante. When the Tadatmya, when the oneness, not there. When the oneness, when there is oneness with all the Sukshma Shariram, that is called Samashti. When the oneness, when there is no oneness, Tat Abhavat. What Abhavat? Vedana Abhavat. Vedana means knowledge. The knowledge of the oneness, absence of the knowledge of oneness with the total, that is called Vishti. Vishti Sanjaya Katyante. When the Tadatmya, it is confined only to the individual, that is Vishti. When the Tadatmya, it expands, then it is Samashti. So when the Tadatmyam expands, then there is, you become, you grow, you expand, that is Ishvaraha. Like the Prime Minister, the example. Prime Minister is identified with the problem of all the individual problem, the total. Therefore, when you identify the total, you become more sensitive. Sensitivity increases. Because I identify with the total, not one. So when you identify with the total, when you expand, that is expansion. Where there is that internal expansion, then sensitivity increases. And therefore, Prime Minister will have more problem than the individual. Individual has got only his problem, whereas Prime Minister has got all the problems. Not only the individual, other problems also he has. So more problem. Therefore, that is Ishvara is Samashti. But here in this case, Ishvara is Sarva Shaktiman, is Sarvajnaha, Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani, since he has knowledge, therefore it doesn't have problem. In the Drishtanta, the Prime Minister citizen, Prime Minister has problem. Where here in the Dashtanta, Ishvara is all knowledge, therefore it doesn't have problem. He is Asangaha. Even though he has got oneness with all the Sukshma Shariram, all the individual, but is still, because he is Asangaha, therefore he is Asangaha, he is Sarvajnaha, therefore he is free from problem. He is not influenced by Maya. He is free from problem. Asangaha. Therefore, this Asangatvam is the only means to be free. How to gain this Asangatvam? That is only by knowledge. Atmajnanam, self-knowledge. So self-knowledge. Ishvara is all knowledge. Therefore, free. And an individual, the Veshti Jiva is ignorant. Therefore, he is Bandhaha. He has got asa, he is Sangaha, he has got Sangha. Therefore, he is Bandhaha. Therefore, Ishvaraha Samashti Swatma. Ishvaraha Samashtihi. Ishvara is called Samashti Swatma Tadatnya Vedanat. Ishvara, when is looked upon, Ishvara, when he looks upon all the Sukshma Shariram as identified with himself, is Samashti, therefore he is Samashti. And Jiva is identified with the individual Sukshma Shariram, therefore he is Veshti. Tat Abhavat, absence of the total, therefore Veshti. Identification with the individual Sukshma Sharira. That is common for Jivas. So therefore, Jiva Ishvara Veda is due to identification with the difference in the Upadhi. And the Ishvara identified with all the Sukshma Shariram gets the name Hiranyagarbha, and the Jiva identified with the individual Sukshma Shariram gets the name Tejasa. Therefore, the difference, Samashti, Veshti difference, because of that, because of the Swatma Tadatmya, that Veda, the difference, it gets a name Samashti and Veshti. So Samashtihi, Sarvesham referring to Linga Sharira Upadhikanam, Samashti Linga Sharira Upadhikanam, Swatma Tadatmya Swatmanaha Ekatta Vijnanat, the oneness, the knowledge of oneness of himself with all the total, Ishvaraha Samashtihi iti Katyante. Anye to different from the Tataha Anye. Tataha is Tataha, Tataha Anye. Tataha different from that. Different from what? Different from the Samashti. Anye referring to Anye Jivaha. Many are there. Anye is Bhagavachanam. Anye is Anyaha, Anyo, Anye. Because Jivas are many. But Ishvara is not many. Ishvara is total. That is only one. Whereas Jivaha, many are there. Anye Jivaha tu tat abhavat. Kim abhavat? Ekatva abhavat. The tadatmya abhavat. Tadatmya means ekatva. Ekatva abhavat. Therefore, Vyashti Sajnaya Katyante. It is known as Vyashti. Jiva is known as Vyashti and Ishvara is known as Samashti. Ishvara is total and Jiva is individual. Tadabhavat. Tadabhavat means Sandhi. It is Samasa. Tasya abhavat, Tadabhavat. Vyashti Sajnaya. Vyashti is a Sajna. Vyashtihi cha yam Sajna. Vyashti Sajna. Vyashti is a Sajna. Vyashti is a Sajna of Anye Jivaha. Anye Jivaha Vyashti Sajnaya Katyante. All the other than that, all the Jivas are called by the name Vyashti. And Ishvara is Swatma Tadat Vivedanat is called by the name Samashti. Samashti Sajnaya Ishaha Katya. Ishaha iti. Ishaha is Ishvara is called Samashti. Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Swa Atma, that is oneself. Swasya. Atma Swatma. Swatmanaha Tadatmyam. Swatma is oneself. Tadatmyam is oneness. So identified with oneself. That is oneness. Swatma Tadatmya. Vedana means jnanam, knowledge. So Swatmanaha Tadatmyam, Swatma Tadatmyam. Tasya Vedanam, Swatma Tadatmya Vedanam. Tasmat, Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Panchami. That is a hetu. That is a hetu for calling the Ishvara as Samashti. Sarvesham Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Ishvara is called Samashti. And absence of that, Anye Jivaha in whom this is absent, they are called by the name Vyashti. That is the meaning. So let us read the Tika. Ishvarasya Samashti Rupatve Jivanam Vyashti Rupatve che Karanam Aha. The reason is, the author tells here, the Samashti Rupatvam of the Ishvara and Vyashti Rupatvam of Jiva. And you can see here, Ishvarasya Ekavachan, Shakti Bhakti Ekavachan. Jivanam Bhagavachan, because many Jivas are there. Jivana, many are there. Vyashti Rupatve, Vyashti. Ishvara is only one, but Samashti. Samashti is total, Ishvara is Ekavachana. Vyashti is individual, Jivanam is Bhagavachan. That's how it has to be. Ishvara, when we say it is Samashti Rupatve Ishvarasya, Vyashti Rupatve Jivanam, Karanam Aga. Sorry. Samashtihi iti. Ishaha. Ishaha is equal to Ishvaraha. Ishaha, Ishvaraha, all same only. From the Ish Dhatu, Ish to rule, Ishvaraha, Varach Pratyaya is added, which denotes the Karta. Ishvaraha. Ishvara is both a technical name as well as we use loosely to mean Brahma, Paramatma. So Ishaha, Ishvaraha, Hiranyagarbha, all means same. Because Upadhi being Mithya, there is no difference. Hiranyagarbha. Sarvesh, why he is saying Hiranyagarbha? Because Linga Shariram. Therefore Hiranyagarbha he says. The author, Ishaha, it takes Ishaha to be Hiranyagarbha. Because Linga Shariram is talked about here. Swatma Tadatmya, that oneness with what? Linga Sharira. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha. Sarvesham Linga Sharira Upadhikanam Taijasanam Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. That is a hetu. Because of this, because of the reason, hetu, reason. That has to be in Panchami Vibhakti. Hetu Panchami. So Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat, because of the knowledge of oneness of oneself with what? Sarvesham, with the everything. What is that everything? That is Taijasanam. Taijasanam Bhagavachanam. Taijasa, that is Vyashti, Karana Shariya Vimani. But total, Then put together all the Tejasa. That is Linga Sharira Upadhikanam Tejasanam. That is called Hiranyagarbha. Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. Swatmana Tadatmyasya Ekattvasya Vedanat. Swatmana Tadatmyam Swatma Tadatmyam Tasya Ekatvam Tasya Vedanam Swatma Tadatmya Vedanam Tasmat. Ekattvasya Vedanat. The knowledge of Ekatvam. Ekatvam is mentioned by the word Tadatmyam. Tadatmyam is Ekatvam. So that is Vedanat, Jnanat, Samashtihi Bhavati. Kaha Samashtihi Bhavati? This Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is called Samashti. Hiranyagarbha is Samashti. Because of Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat with total, with everything. Tataha, from that, Tataha Tasmat. That is also Panchami Arte. So Tataha is Avyaya, but it has the meaning of Panchami. Tasmat. From that, different from that, Ishvarat Anye. Tataha, Tasmat, that is Ishvarat, Hiranyagarbhat. Different from that is Anye Jivaha, other Jivas, Jivaha tu. Tadabhavat, Tasya Tat Abhavat. That Swatma Tadatmya Abhavat. Tadatmya Vedanasya Abhavat. Absence of the oneness. Absence of the knowledge of oneness. Tadatmya Vedanasya Abhavat Vyashti Sanyaya Vyashti Sapshabdena Katyante, called by the name Vyashti. So what is Vyashti, what is Samashti here is defined by the author here, even though he has used before, and he clarifies what it means. That is the meaning. The next shloka, we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರತ್.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.